Hi, everybody. You may have seen me from my podcast Positivity. You may have seen me on the status or social media, Instagram, LinkedIn. Many people know me from different places. Some people know me from Weber Media, a social media management company where we manage the Instagrams and LinkedIn of companies that do millions of dollars in sales a year. And I think it's time to share a little bit more on a vulnerable perspective, on an honest perspective for those who want to know more about me, whether it's about my life, my diet, my health, my routine, or just in general want to hear about my story and how I got to where I am right now, which is still developing. I wouldn't call it that I made it, but I just can share a perspective from a Jewish businessman, entrepreneur, influencer, whatever you want to call it. I'm here and I'm happy and excited to share with you my journey, answer some of your questions, answer some of the popular questions that I get very often that maybe can give you a little bit of a perspective of how I got to where I am and how maybe you can elevate your life to the place where you want to go. So this is what this channel is about, and I'm very excited about this. I think the most popular question, the number one asked question that I got is, where did you start, Eli? Where did this all start? So, or what was my first job? So my education was just like everybody learning in a Jewish school, and I went to Skver Chayder, Skver Yeshiva. Without getting into details, I learned in Israel for another 2 years, but then I was looking out for a job as I was doing nothing for a couple of months. It felt pretty good in the moment, just watching TV shows and just spending all night and all day chilling with friends. But at some point I felt empty. I felt like it's time to move on. It's time to be a man. It's time to have be consistent and have a job. And that's where my first cousin reached out to me and he said, I'm doing work in construction. How about you come work for me or for the company that I'm working with and get involved? So my first job was in construction, managing a 30-story building, 500 apartments that they were building, and there was about 500 employees on the job every day. And I was the logistics super slash housekeeping super, just literally managing the building and taking out garbage. It was a very good job. I made lots of money. I started at around 70 grand a year, then I went up to about 120 grand a year. But at some point, I just simply felt empty. And I said to myself, why am I helping somebody else? Why am I making somebody else rich? And I said, I want to be that person that is hiring other people, that is making other people rich, including myself. And I just felt meaningless for me to drive in every day, especially I was working in Lakewood, and I was living in Lakewood, New Jersey, and this was in Brooklyn, and I was driving in. My whole day, my whole week was shot, and I felt like this is not real life. I can achieve and do a lot better. And that's what I did. The day I quit, it was really a build-up. Like it was just like I felt it coming. Like I started slacking in my own job and not doing the work properly, and my boss felt it. And as this was going on, I was already planning ideas on what I'm going to do next. Because most people, when they meet me, they ask me, like, you opened a business. How did you open a business? It's so hard to open a business. And yes, it's hard, but most people get stuck by the idea. And people ask me all the time, how do you come up with the idea? What idea can I do? And I always tell them, that's not the answer to the reason you don't have a business. That is the question. Don't stop by the question. The fact that you have a question of what you want to do is great. Keep on asking yourself that question, sometimes for a day, for a whole week, for a month, even for years. Ask yourself the question every single day. What is it that I want to do until you have an answer? Because I promise you, you will come up with an answer. We are all unique individuals. You will find something. And that's what my friend told me, and that's what kept me asking the same question again and again. What is it that I want to do? What is it that I'm unique in? And I actually had a list of about 10 ideas of what I can do. And some of it included opening a restaurant, which is something I'm passionate about, but I never did. I was considering being a musical manager. I was considering I'm trying to think, maybe writing art or poetry was something that I enjoyed. I had many things that I enjoyed, but one of the things that I said that I want to do is social media, because I was doing it for my friend, the singer Michal Schnitzler. Many people know him. As a hobby, I was doing it for him, just running many different social channels for him, like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, even like WhatsApp and Telegram, just setting him up with channels across the internet, every possible channel that you can have. And there was one day, so getting fired was simple. I just simply really just got fired. And my boss called me in one day and said, I'm sorry, I don't know what happened to you. Like you're not performing. You're not the same old Ellie that you were when I hired you. And I said, you're right. I didn't even put up a fight. I knew that I was getting fired. I knew that I am wanting to quit my job. So I sat into my friend's house, Michal Schnitzler, and I told him the few ideas that I'm thinking about. And then he stopped and he said, I think social media is something that you've done beautifully for me over the past few years. It really helped him in his personal life. And I said, let me also do this for other businesses. In the next video, I'll show you exactly how I got my first client, which is the number one thing that people want to know. Once they have the idea for a business, they want to know, how is it that you get your first client? And it wasn't easy, but I'm happy to share it with you. Thank you for being here, and thanks for watching this last video. If you enjoyed this video, please do me a personal favor. Subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, a thumbs up, a like. It really helps me out seeing in which direction I should go with this channel. If you have any comment, please reply. I will try personally to respond to every comment. If you want to connect with me personally, my information is all in the description. You can connect with me over there. Enjoy the next video.